Today we're going to troubleshoot this Lippert Power Solara awning motor, which is no longer going in and out. I can hear the relay clicking inside, but no response here. So that either means I'm getting no electricity here, or it means the motor's gone. Just to remove the power motor head is pretty simple. Remove this screw, and this whole assembly slides out. There is a quick disconnect in here that I found in the back. Here's the photo. So that assumes I can just unplug it, and then I'll be able to test for continuity or power at that plug. Here, I rigged up using a paint handle extension, just a little support to help hold this up when I disconnect. Most of the videos I saw, they didn't do that, but they were short awnings. This is at least 15-foot awning, probably closer to 20. So I want a little bit of weight distribution for that while it hangs there. Tie strap these up so that they can't open up more once I disconnect the motor. But I'm also seeing this awning is about, the materials at about end of life. You got a pinhole right there with sunlight coming through. So this fabric is finished after 5 years. So that'll be the next video. All right, so I think I got everything strapped up. I'm ready to take off the motor head. Okay, I'm going to start by taking off this Phillips screw, which will allow this mechanism to slide out. But before I do that, I'm going to take out the number 2 square head bolt up here. All right, I removed that number 2 square, popped this off the shaft just by popping that out, and my little mechanism's holding this end of the awning up nicely. I'm going to take out this screw next. Okay, that screws out, and this head is ready to be popped out. It's supposed to just slide out. There it is. And there is the quick disconnect. Assembly's off. And this is what we're going to check for polarity or for power. So what you do next is you set up a voltmeter. I have this meter set up my common voltage here, and then 20 volts here. So I'll measure up to 20 volts. And what I did is I just took one each of these test probes and place them into each of these in the harness plug, and had my wife engage the switch, and I have 14.4 volts right here. So that means I have power, and it means the motor is shot. All right, so next let's take apart the head assembly and take a look at the motor. So while trying to get the screws loose in the head assembly, this fell out. So it's going to be interesting to see where that came from. So our mystery bolt nut goes in here for the pillar screw. So I'll have to dab a little bit of goop in there when I go to put it back in, but that's what it's for. So what I'm going to need to do is remove this motor and likely get a replacement. I'm going to see if one of the local RV dealers maybe has one in stock today, and I can do this job right now. But before I do, at the top of this cowling where we had to insert the power driver in here to access this nut to crank the awning out manually to do this repair, this should have a rubber grommet in it. And it no longer had a rubber grommet, which means water intruded here. And I was kind of figuring I'd see a lot of water damage, but I really don't. I see a little rust here and all around this edge of the seal here. So I'm guessing maybe that intruded in the motor, but honestly I don't see much. I think this is just a crappy part that failed. Thank you, Lippert. Alright, so here's our motor, and it actually looks intact. I don't see anything too worn, actually. That's kind of interesting. Again, probably just a crappy part. Bet you somewhere on here it says made in China. But, there's a plastic bushing, nylon bushing with some grooves in it here, and there's some kind of a seal that was a part like this, and it appears to be the diameter of the outside of this. So maybe this is an O-ring that dried out and snapped. Don't know. I'll find out when I get the replacement part. And on the housing side, everything looks great. So don't see, everything looks great here, and that looks good. Like I said, the only thing I really saw was some rust here, and maybe I'll take that apart and look inside. So these screws are actually not even hand tight, super loose, easy to take them off. So let's take a look inside. So here's what she looks like. Again, I don't see a lot of evidence of water intrusion. Maybe here, I'm seeing a little bit of something, but it's not really wiping off. It's not like it's rust. Maybe it is. Can't really tell. Maybe that's what caused the motor to quit, but it quit. So I'm going to see if I can just get a solenoid, or if I have to buy the whole assembly. Here's what the inside of the solenoid assembly looks like. A little bit of white, powdery kind of stuff in there. So, may have been water intrusion, not sure. Alright, so yesterday we left off here. Old motor, no good. I called around to local dealers. Nobody had them. They had to special order them. 2 weeks. Found the part number barely etched in here. It's part number 373566, and it's made by Ming something something in China. So Chinese made part. So what I found instead is this is the overall pick on Amazon. Feels just as girthy and beefy as the original, probably also made in China. But overall picks on Amazon mean highest customer satisfaction rating and lowest rate of return. So I picked up this. The dealers wanted $210 to order one and receive it in 2 weeks. This was on Amazon for $29.95 and came at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I can buy 9 of these for the cost of one through the dealer. So this is what's getting put on. So we're going to now install this here in exactly the same position as the original. So before I reassemble this, I bought a new O-ring because the old one was broken. So I have a nice O-ring in here. I'll post the part numbers and sizes on Amazon in the comments. And when you've put that O-ring in, don't forget to put this little retaining plate back in, because it is important to have in there to keep everything where it belongs. Yeah, fit that O-ring right around here before you pop this in. There's a ridge here that should go up because the gear head wheels kind of slide within that little edge there. And now you can see that O-ring's just sitting nice and equal inside of that little O-ring guide. You got to kind of work it a little bit. Like over here, it's just popped out just a little, so just work it back in there. And once it's all even, you're ready to go. You're going to cinch down the bolts. And we are ready to rock and roll. Okay, and remember the little nut that fell out? Well, I got little pieces of clear Gorilla Tape. I'm just going to use as shims to push that in so it stays where it needs to be, because this is the bolt that comes through the arm and cinches this down to the whole mechanism. Okay, we're going to put our 2 screws in here, which mounts the plastic assembly to the cast motor frame. All right, perfect. Next, we snap the lid back on, nice and fit. And we got 2 screws to put in here to cinch it down. She's basically all ready to go. So I did buy a rubber plug, but it's too big, so I'm going to have to order a smaller one, but I'll plug that up and we're ready to install. Also, you may have noticed these extra screw holes when I was cinching down this assembly. This is because this assembly will work on both the left and right side of the awning. So this is for the right side when you're looking at the awning, and if you were doing this on the left side, you'd be using these screw holes. All right, we're back out here to reinstall, and it looks like my little pole support held up all night. All right, next task is pretty simple. Put our head assembly back into the arm. All right, I had to use 2 hands to align it and slide the bolt in. Next, we're going to cinch down that bolt. So you'll see I used a little bit, or if you can see it, there it is, a little bit of duct tape. I'm going to cinch down, just tape down this wire. It's a little bit longer than the wire that came in, so I just want to make sure it doesn't get pinched. Power wire quick disconnect has been connected. And all that's left is for us to reinstall this on the shaft and put the retaining bolt in, and we should be ready to test. So you will have to wrangle this and turn it to get the holes to line up, but once they do, you're ready to put in the retaining screw. All right, we're all cinched down, so in theory, we have a working awning. Let's find out. It's the moment of truth. Look at that. Another job completed. On to the awning material next.